Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of creating a React native application. So in the previous episodes, we set up our actions folder and started creating some of the actions. So we created the auth actions here. So our restore, register, login, logout for the user, and the last video of so this is just the last one. We created our get to do items. So let's go ahead and make the save to do item here. We're going to go ahead and do let errors, and then if is empty, our to do that's coming. Then we'll go ahead and do errors.todo equals to do cannot be empty, just like that. And then here if errors is not empty, so just like that, then go ahead and return set errors, dispatch, and errors. So that's our little bit of error handling. That'll just let them know that you can't make a blank to do. And then we can actually move this out of the try block, which might be good. So then it's got a bit of spacing. So in our try block, let's go ahead and pull out to do items. So let to do items equals await async storage dot get item. Inside of here is to do items, just like that. And then we'll do to do items is equal to. So here what we're doing is we're basically checking, because we did it a little bit up as well. We're checking to see if to do items is empty. If it is, then just return an empty array, because by default if it is empty it'll return null, etc. And this might cause some issues in the front end. At least this way we're keeping consistent with the object type, so we're keeping it as an array. So if it is null, we'll just send an empty array. That way it doesn't break anything in the front end side. So else we go ahead and do json.parse and to do items, just like that. So then we go here, we're going to create a random ID. So each of our to do items, we're going to assign it a random ID, just so that way our items can be unique but have the same title, right? So in the first video I showed you guys a demo where we had multiple items of, let's say, the same name test. This way when we're deleting by the random ID, not by the title name. So inside of here we're going to do math.floor, which will round it up, or actually no, floor will round it down, I believe. Let's double check that fact. So it's always good to Google, I use Stack Overflow all the time, so don't be afraid to use that. See JavaScript, what does math.floor do? So returns the largest integer. Yeah. So it just returns basically this number here. That's fine. So math.floor, and inside of here we're going to go ahead and put some brackets again, parentheses, and do math.random. Now math.random will give us a value between 0 to 1, that can be 0 0.05, etc. And we're going to multiply that value by 100,000, 2, 3, just like that. And we're going to go ahead and say plus 1. So this is going to give us a random number between 0 to 100,000. This way our ID can be quite random. Hopefully, of course, even though it is random, there is a possibility of getting the same ID. However, it's quite rare. And there's one more trick we will do to make sure it stays as unique as possible. but this is only for testing purposes anyways. For an actual production app, you should use something more like UID. So let's have a look at that here. npm, I think it's called, yeah, so UUID. So this will give you a random user ID, something like that. That would be more relevant if you're generating random IDs. But if you're going to use a server and then connect to a database, then you can make things more consistent. And we'll discuss that in the server side. So right now we're just focusing more on the React Native side. So let's go ahead and do constant new to do items equal to do. So here we're going to do a ternary statement, to do items dot length greater than 0. So what we're doing here is we're checking, right, is the length, right, this length of the two to do items greater than 0. Now if it is greater than 0, then that means there is no items in there. It is null, right? So no, if it is greater than 0, then that means there are items in there. My bad, got the other way. So there are items in there, so it is not null, it's not empty. So if that is the case, then let's go ahead and use our spread operator on to do items to pull every item outside of to do items, because to do item is an array, and it's going to put it back into this array. And we're going to go ahead and add a new item. So ID, our ID, we do string literals, is going to be our to do dash our rand ID. Oops, that's a percentage, needs to be $. So that would keep the ID as unique as possible. So now that we've done that, we then go ahead and add our title, and inside of our title will be to do, and let's add our user, and user will just be user like that, and that will say user equals user. So once you've done that, we then add our else. So else, right, if it doesn't have any items and it is less than or equal to 0, then we're going to assume there are no items in to do items, and we're going to create the first item, and that's going to be essentially just this here. So we can go ahead and copy that just like that. Brilliant. And that's pretty much it. So that's our new to do items, and then we're gonna do await async storage dot set item, and we're gonna do to do items, and we're gonna do JSON dot stringify. If it comes up, there it is. And once you stringify, we're gonna stringify new to do items like that. Now the reason we've been doing JSON.parse is because we've been stringifying our data, or we should have been stringifying the data. What that does is it converts our array into a JSON object, and that JSON object is essentially a string, a long string. And then that way it's able to be saved into async storage because it only accepts strings. So now we'll do our dispatch, and we'll just say type set to do and to do items. Now here we're going to do a method called filter, new to do items dot filter, and then we'll say filter to do, and then we'll say filter to do dot user dot to lowercase equal to user dot to lowercase. So what we're doing here is we're filtering every item inside of here, every new item, including the old items, because we're putting old items in there, and we're just returning everything that's relevant to that user. So that there is our save to do item. So in the next video we'll do the delete to do item. So I'll catch you guys there. Thanks for watching.